Hey guys, so I had actually told myself that under no circumstances would I make a review on this show. I simply figured that I wouldn't have the time for it, but after watching it, there's no way I can go without mentioning it too. So I started watching The Haunting of Hill House 6 days ago and watched the final episode last night. And if you're going to watch it yourself, I would recommend you not to wait for too long in between watching each episode, as there's a lot of jumping from past to future, present. It all goes about at the same time almost. Does that make sense? I just mean it could get a little confusing if you wait for too long. So personally, I watched about 2 episodes a day, so I would say I could recommend that. Unless you're a binge watcher, then go ahead with it 1 day or 2 days. But I like to stretch it over the week. So throughout this show, there's a lot of consistency. I think we could even describe the show that way. It's one big consistent happening of events, I tell you guys. It's everything and it's nothing, and it's beautiful and it's scary. I believe many of us have been waiting for something like this to come about. Something that keeps your mind entertained and makes you think, not just some silly teenage comedy drama show. You know what I mean? This is dark, man. Let's clearly put some thought into it. I don't even want to sound like a fanboy, but I finished the first season and I wish I didn't. You know what I mean? When you watch this show, you're just being dragged through this whole essence of darkness and grief and sorrow and fear and anger, and oh, it's great. I got a tiny bit emotional myself, I must admit. But even though it is this dark, it can also be pleasant to watch. I mean, it's not a horrible experience. Like, it's dark, but there's also moments where you laugh a bit. I'm pretty sure I did laugh a few times in the first few episodes, but by now I really can't remember. Like, after watching the final, it's like all the good things, all good memories, they just went away, and it was just pure sadness. In a good way. But the ending, it was like, how can I describe it? It was like if you have a book, you know, and you're about to turn to the other page, but you never really get there. It never really turns. A new chapter is supposed to begin, but the chapter before that has not finished yet. Woo! So poetic I am. Philosophical. The whole season is about these kids that at one point spent time in Hill House, a haunted house. And now we're kind of following them as grown-ups, as adults, you know. They're not kids anymore, but they're still haunted by their time in Hill House. I guess you could say you can take the child out of Hill House, but you can never take the Hill House out of the child. They have really done a good job in setting up moods and drag the viewer into the situation with good acting and creepy ass looking creatures and imagery, man. But if I'd have to mention something bad, the thing I like the least, it's a minor thing, but it's the contact lenses. The father to the kids in his young days, oh, maybe not young days, but younger than in the present. The time they lived in Hill House, let's just say that. He was wearing these, the actor, he had these blue contact lenses in, and it was just obvious that it wasn't real, and it was kind of distracting in some way, because when you first get into the show, as I said, it took me 1 episode to get into it really, you see this man, and you're just thinking, is this guy a vampire? No, this is not a vampire movie. What is going on? Is he a werewolf or something? Is he some kind of supernatural being? What's happening with those eyes, man? That's what I thought, but however, I did get used to it. But other than that, I was gladly satisfied with it all, to be honest. I mean, the story, the writing, the acting, the scenography and the characters, it was great. You must think I'm about to join a cult or something and start praising the Holy Hill House. The unholy Hill House, maybe. But well, if you're looking for 10 hours of cray-cray, you can find The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix. Yeah. So unless you're easy to nightmares and you don't like having them, then maybe this isn't a good show for you. But otherwise, it's hella lit, man. But yeah, that's it anyways. I really don't have much more to say, as I'm worried I would begin spoiling. I just wanted to let you guys know about the show and recommend it to you. This is the third review I'm doing on a show, and it's the one that's going to score the most stars so far. I really don't watch that many shows, to be honest, as I think that could take up a whole lot of time compared to just watching a movie that could be just as good. But this one just seemed so interesting, and it took me, as I said, one episode to get into it, and as I got dragged through the whole season, I was left fairly impressed. I have to say that. And something else I have to say. I have to come clear and tell you that I'm giving this show 10 stars. 10 out of 10. This one was excellent. And after this video, I guess I'm deemed a fanboy. What? Okay, it was not meant to be a whole lot of these sucking, but as I'm saying, 10 stars. And that's exactly the reason why. I don't have many things to complain about. I was so impressed by this show. I feel like in this video I've just told you my truth, my opinion, my experience from watching it, and that's really all I can do. It was so good that I give it 10 stars. And that's it for today. You can subscribe if you want to, if you're new to the channel. Leave a like if you find yourself to want to make a little boy happy.